welcome back to Friday Reads, where we help you find your next read. I'm Jill.
I'm Julie. And today is Mustache Day in the village of Kimberly. So, Jill, I mustache you. What is your first pick for books with people with mustaches?
Well, I'm coming on strong with Tom Selleck's new memoir. This was published in May of this year. It's called You Never Know by Tom Selleck. There are many miles from business school to the basketball court at the University of Southern California to 50 million viewers for the final episode of a TV show called Magnum P.I. Tom Selleck has lived every one of those miles in his own joyful way. Frank, funny, open-hearted, You Never Know is an intimate memoir from one of the most beloved actors of our time. A highly personal story of a remarkable life and thoroughly accidental career. In his own voice and uniquely unpretentious style, the famed actor brings readers on the uncharted but serendipitous journey to the top in Hollywood. His temptations and distraction, his misfires and mistakes, and over time, his well-earned success. Along the way, he clears up an armload of misconceptions and shares dozens of never-told stories from all corners of his personal and professional life. His rambunctious California childhood, his clueless arrival at a good-looking college jock in Hollywood, from the dating game in the Fox New Talent program to co-starring with Mae West and escorting her to black tie social function. What it was like to emerge as a megastar in his mid-30s and remain so for decades to come. An actor whose authenticity and ease in front of the camera connected with audiences worldwide while embodying, also redefining cliches of on-screen manhood. And You Never Know, Selleck recounts his personal friendships with a vivid army of A-listers, everyone from Frank Sinatra to Carol Burnett to Sam Elliott, paying special tribute to his mentor, James Garner of the Rockford Files, who believed, like Selleck, that TV protagonists are far more interesting when they have rough edges. He also more than tips his hat to the American Western and the scruffy band of actors, directors, and other ruffians who helped define this classic genre, where Selleck has repeatedly found a happy home. Magnum fans will be fascinated to learn how Selleck put his career on the line to make Thomas Magnum a more imperfect hero, and explains why he walked away from the show that could easily have gotten on for years longer. So if you want to hear more about Tom Selleck's life, this is his memoir, and it just came out this year, and he has an impressive mustache.
You bet. My first pick is Charlie Chaplin, also kind of an iconic mustache. Yeah. This is by Peter Ackroyd and was published in 2014. It's a brief yet definitive biography of one of film's greatest, perfect for readers who want to know more about the iconic star who don't want to commit to a real lengthy work, so it's not real thick. He was the very first icon of the silver screen and is one of the most recognizable of Hollywood faces, even 100 years after his first film. But what of the man behind the mustache? This biography turns the spotlight on Chaplin's life as well as his work, from his humble theatrical beginnings in music halls to winning an honorary Academy Award. Everything is in this book, from the glamour of his golden age to the murky scandals of the 1940s and eventual exile to Switzerland, which I didn't know. Oh. There are charming anecdotes along the way, playing the violin in a New York hotel room to mask the sound of Stan Laurel frying pork chops, and long Hollywood lunches with Mary Pickford and Douglas Fairbanks Jr. This masterful, brief biography offers fresh revelations about one of the most familiar faces of the last century and brings the little tramp vividly to life. Charlie Chaplin with his iconic mustache.
Look at that. He's got a beard that goes with this mustache. Nick Offerman, Where the Deer and the Antelope Play, the pastoral observations of one ignorant American who loves to walk outside. It's also got the longest title I've ever heard. This was published in 2021. Nick Offerman has always felt particular affection for the land of the free, not just for the people and their purported ideals, but the actual land, the bedrock, the topsoil, and everything in between that generates the health of your local watershed. In his new book, Nick takes a humorous, inspiring, and elucidating trip to America's trails, farms, and frontier to examine the people who inhabit the land, what has been meant to them and us and to the land itself, both historically and currently. In 2018, Wendell Berry posed a question to Nick, a query that planted the seed of this book, sending Nick on two memorable journeys with pals. A hiking trip to Glacier National Park with his friends Jeff Tweedy and George Saunders, as well as an extended visit to his friend James Rebanks, the author of The Shepherd's Life and English Pastoral. He followed that up with an excursion that could only have come about in 2020. Nick and his wife Megan Mullally bought an Airstream trailer to drive across several of the United States. These 3 quests inspired some of the deepish thinking from Nick about the history and philosophy of our relationship with nature in our national parks, in our farming, and in our backyards, and what we mean when we talk about conservation and the importance of outdoor recreation, all subjects very close to Nick's heart. So he doesn't really talk about his mustache but it's there.
We've listened to a few of his audiobooks. He's interesting to listen to.
He's got a great voice.
And he's got an interesting cast of friends. So.
Yeah, he does.
My second pick is also an iconic mustache. This is Mark Twain, Great American Short Stories. Mark Twain lends his trademark humor and folksy dialogue to these funny and touching short stories. Written after the Civil War during America's Gilded Age, these tales move from a mining camp in a boom and bust town of California's gold rush to the streets of London. His risk-taking characters, both upstanding and shady, use their wits and ingenuity to make their fortunes and exemplify the country's can-do spirit. Whether Twain is applauding or poking fun at the characters, his surprising plot twists and tongue-in-cheek humor make these some of America's favorite short stories. Our short story group here at the Kimberly Library has read several of Mark Twain's short stories. We read The Celebrated Jumping Frog of Calaveras County, A Dog's Tale, Eve's Diary, and extracts from Adam's Diary. So this is just a thin little sample of some of the short stories of Mark Twain.
Okay, I'm getting away from the memoirs and stuff now, and we're going to a Western where you can definitely find some mustache. This is William Johnstone's Those Jensen Boys, and this is actually #1 in a series, so if you are interested in liking those series. In this Western series opener by 2 best-selling authors, J.A. Johnstone and William Johnstone, which I think they are related. Twin gunfighters dish out double the trouble for a mine owner and his hired guns. A bold, sprawling epic of the American West, the Jensen family saga has captivated readers for nearly 3 decades. Now comes the untold story of Smoke Jensen's long-lost nephews, Ace and Chance, a pair of young gun twins as reckless and wild as the frontier himself. Luck of the draw, their father is Luke Jensen, supposedly killed in the Civil War. Their uncle Smoke is one of the fiercest gunfighters the West has ever known. It's no surprise that the inseparable Ace and Chance Jensen have a knack for taking risks, even if they have to blast their way out of them. Chance is a bit of a hothead, good with his gun and his fists. Ace is more of a thinker, sharp as a snake bite, and just as deadly quick. Their skills are put to the test when 2 young ladies ask them to protect their struggling stagecoach line from a ruthless, bloodthirsty mine owner with money, power, and enough hired killers to slaughter half the territory. Those Jensen boys have to ask, what would Smoke Jensen do? So, those Jensen boys.
My third pick is another Hollywood actor with kind of an iconic mustache, and that's Burt Reynolds. But Enough About Me by Burt and John Winokur, and this was published in 2015. It's scandalous, sentimental, frank, and sincere. Burt Reynolds has been a Hollywood leading man for decades, known for his legendary performances, sex symbol status, and storied Hollywood romances. In his long career of stardom, during which he was #1 at the box office for 5 years in a row, he has seen it all. But Enough About Me will tell his story through the people he's encountered on his amazing journey. It begins with Reynolds' adolescence as a notable football player and the devastating car accident that ended his sports career. The book takes readers from the Broadway stages, where Reynolds got his start, to his subsequent rise to fame. From Oscar nominations to the spread in Cosmopolitan magazine that remains a notorious pop cultural touchstone to this day, to the financial decision that took him from rich to poor and back again, Burt Reynolds shares the wisdom that has come from his many highs and his many lows. He's also ready, now more than ever, to dish. He famously romanced Dinah Shore, Sally Field, and Lonnie Anderson, to name only the top few. He batted eyes at Bette Davis, Greta Garbo, Goldie Hawn, Farrah Fawcett, Marilyn Monroe, Candice Bergen, and so many more women. He went a few rounds or more with the likes of Donald Trump and Helen Gurley Brown, and he rubbed elbows with Jon Voight, Clark Gable, Clint Eastwood, and a lot of Hollywood celebrities. Wow. Through it all, Burt Reynolds reflects on his personal pitfalls and recoveries and refocuses attention on his legacy as a father and an acting teacher, leaving readers with a classic from one of Hollywood's most enduring and treasured stars. So, and quite a mustache he sports. So,
quite a mustache.
Burt Reynolds, but enough about me.
I remember when he was dating Sally Field. That was a big deal.
That was a big deal, is right.
Look at that lovely mustache. This is the first in another series, Baby Ganesh Agency Investigation. The Unexpected Inheritance of Inspector Chopra. I'm assuming that is his mustache. This is by Vaseem Khan. It was published in 2015. On the day he retires, Inspector Ashwin Chopra inherits two unexpected mysteries. The first is the case of a drowned boy whose suspicious death no one seems to want solved. And the second is a baby elephant. As his search for clues takes him across the teeming city of Mumbai, from the grand high-rises to its sprawling slums and deep into the murky underworld, Chopra begins to suspect that there may be a great deal more to both his last case and his new ward than he thought. And he soon learns that when the going gets tough, a determined elephant may be exactly what an honest man needs. So there's an elephant in it, too.
My next pick is King, Alive by Jonathan Eig, published in 2023. Martin Luther King with his mustache. The first full biography in decades, King mixes revelatory and exhaustive new research with brisk and accessible storytelling to forge the definitive life for our times. It's vividly written and exhaustively researched. A Life is the first major biography in decades of the civil rights icon Martin Luther King Jr., and the first to include recently declassified FBI files. In this new portrait of the preacher and activist who shook the world, the best-selling biographer gives us an intimate view of the courageous and often emotionally troubled human who demanded peaceful protest for his movement, but was rarely at peace with himself. He casts fresh light on the King family's origins as well as MLK's complex relationships with his wife, his father, and fellow activists. King reveals a minister wrestling with his own human frailties and dark moods, a citizen hunted by his own government, and a man determined to fight for justice, even if it proved to be a fight to the death. As he follows MLK from the classroom to the pulpit, to the streets of Birmingham, Selma, and Memphis, the author dramatically recreates the journey of a man who recast American race relations and became our only modern-day founding father, as well as the nation's most mourned martyr. In this biography, the author gives us an MLK for our deep thinker, a brilliant strategist, and a committed radical who led one of the history's greatest movements, and whose demands for racial and economic justice remain as urgent today as they were in his lifetime. So, King, A Life by Jonathan Eig.
Nice. My last one, this is by Rebecca Yarros. This is actually part of a trilogy. This is the second book, because the first one wasn't on the shelf, to be honest. They all have mustaches on their faces, though, the main characters here. 9 years ago, Weston Madigan saved me. I came to Colorado penniless, broken, and pregnant, searching for a fresh start. Weston gave me a job at his family's resort, then left the next day and never returned, not even to visit. When I stumble in on Weston cooking breakfast shirtless, gloriously, inappropriately shirtless, in a shared kitchen on my duplex in employee housing, given the shock on both our faces, he wasn't expecting a roommate either, let alone two. And the growly pilot is one only home to start his family's new heli skiing operation. And he can handle his temporary roommate, right? Chemistry and attraction aren't impossible to ignore when you agree on ground rules. Besides, even with those gorgeous, brooding brown eyes, the guy is walking thunderclown until my daughter Sutton makes him laugh, and he smiles at me. Then everything changes. Cue inconvenient heart flip. This is only temporary. I can't fall for Weston. I will not fall for Weston. But rules go out the window when you're a little too close. So this was published in 2022, and the first one is called A Little Too Late. And it also takes place it must take place in the mountains, the Madigan Mountains, so with hot guys.
She's a popular author here. Mm-hmm. And Jill did such a good job drawing her mustache. My last pick is 20 Ways to Draw a Mustache by Cara Bean, published in 2014. So if you're ready to draw all of the beards, hairdos, eyes, facial expressions, and characters you need, check out this book. There's handlebars, mutton chops, and chin straps. They all come alive in 20 Ways to Draw a Mustache. It's wonderfully illustrated, and it'll help you hone your razor-sharp drawing skills. What better way to liven up your illustrations than the perfect expressions, hair, and features? The book is perfect for you illustrators, cartoonists, just you ordinary doodlers, and anyone who loves to sketch. The stache styles, quirked brows, and snidely sneers in this volume are simplified, modernized, and reduced to the most basic elements, offering simple forms that meld to create the building blocks of any item, man-made or organic that you want to draw. This all-in-one sketchbook lets you draw right on the pages, not in our library copy. You can make a copy, making it easy to keep all of your most inspired creations at hand. Whether it's for a project or just to pass the time and relax, you can learn helpful hints and tricks. 20 Ways to Draw a Mustache is the perfect muse for any level of doodlers. Best of all, impress your friends at parties with your expertly scribbled mustaches. You can even put them on their drink cups. So you'll see, like, this is mustaches. There's examples of different mustaches. It's got all sorts of fun stuff in this book. It's got your legs, your collars, characters, hair braids, if you need to draw hair braids on your character. So check out 20 Ways to Draw a Mustache.
I could have used that this morning. I just kind of want it. Well, thank you for joining us. And if you're looking to read about people who have mustaches, I hope we have a lot of selection here for you to choose from.
You can find our videos on our YouTube channel, our Kimberly Public Library website, and our Kimberly Public Library Facebook page. We've been having a lot of fun with these videos lately. Obviously, this is the Halloween edition, even though it's coming out on November 1st. So until next time, we thank you for watching.
Bye.